Hey guys, this is Carnifex, another Nerd This video. Today I'm going to show you my test account. There's been a lot of videos in the past couple days, but every once in a while I got to work the entirety of a weekend, so I was unable to really get things going, and I'm just going to kind of do some things talking about. So here's what I intend to do with my test account. So as you guys know, most of the stuff that I've put out is tends to be PvE related. And there's a reason for that. It's because it's what I enjoy more in the game. Whenever I played MMOs, whenever I've played other games like Dragon Champions, I always got more into how to get through like territory battles. Knowing that, because we only kind of have one off with these, right? As you can see, they start us off with a ton of these. Everybody's got all the shards they need, right? You got a ton of gold to like level up stuff, right? And I thought, well, what do I want to use this for? Because once I go past a certain point, there's no going back. And so what I decided is that this is going to be a PvE testing account. So this is not me throwing. These guys are not going to be year 11 anytime soon. That's my intention. Unless they release a new raid, in which case I would quickly make one for Erichar, and then one for whatever came next. So I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna figure. So my right now, I'm not even worrying about some of these other characters. I'm hoping they push the update where Geary becomes a little quicker before I have to hit the people I'm not really dealing with at the moment. This is what I go through for you guys. Look at all this clicking. So here's my criteria, right? Obviously, I'm going to get him to 7-star because you can't fight tier 7 Erichar without 7 stars. So I'm going to do that. Most characters that are crucial to this grade tend to be on later nodes, whether it's Revel, whether it's Freezard, whether it's Nightiel. These are characters who are farther back. And since they're farther back, that means a lot of the free-to-play and just lower investment people, they're not going to be able to get these characters to 7 stars until they're level 80. So I'm going 7 stars, level 80 as a baseline. For gear, first I'm going to try testing at gear 9. I'm going to see if I can get the right percentage at gear 9 before even boosting people to gear 10. And then at that point, if I'm still not able to get it consistently, then I'll just go incrementally, right? Choose kind of like those key characters to upgrade first. Does that make enough of a difference to get us over the hurdle? But I'm not just going to do this for the raid. I'm going to do this for events as well. So obviously everybody may not have all of these characters ready to go. So here's almost to gear level 9. I'll show you how. So basically, if there's an easy gear piece, once you've hit gear 9, I'll do it, because that's something you would want to put in. So for example, right here, this is a blue piece. I'm going to put this on even though it's on gear 9. This is a very farmable piece. I'm going to put it on. This is not. We're not going to put it on. This, it takes a while. This is I think this is one where I want to put on because it's very farmable. This one will take a little bit, and there's some demand for it. So like these 3 I'm going to leave out. I'm going to leave these out. Abilities, right? Basically, I'm going to go by my minimum requirements guide. There's really just no reason for certain characters for you not to max out certain their abilities, but I'm also not trying to everyone's not just going to have maxed abilities. I'll show you my Tromgar in just a second. Let's take him to like level 3. Let's leave it at level 3 for right now. So I'll show you like my Tromgar, right? And you saw I didn't max out Freezard there. Right, Tromgar, this is like my minimum recommendations guide. Max here to get maximum stun chance. Right here, so he has his taunt off cooldown right on the first turn. But he hasn't maxed these out. Even though there's some value there to be gotten, it's not as valuable as some of the other upgrades you can make in other characters. Whereas Revel, I'm kind of leaving his AoE down. I'm going to see if I feel like I need to bust it up a little bit in order to clear the ads regularly. We'll see. But so this is what I'm going to be building it for. And again, I'm not just going to be doing this for the raid. I'm going to be doing it for these events that we get, so whether it's for gladiators, whether it's for, you know, whatever. And my baseline is going to be that gear 9 plus any easy pieces. So that's it. I'm not gonna, we're not just gonna chill while I keep doing this. It takes hours to kind of get stuff to square one. So what I'm gonna do is I just want to go over briefly the announcement that we got for the update that's coming up. So first of all, we got the 3 new characters. We already knew about Yogi, this chameleon-looking dude. He's going to be, obviously, Clans, Pride, and then he's got Fighter and Mage. It's kind of contradictory from other games, but we'll go with it. Phalia, you know, again, know nothing about her, really. There's going to be some stuff I'm going to have to not show you. This is not a thing where I'm withholding anything. I know nothing about them other than what we're reading on here. So she's a mage and tactician, so she's going to have some kind of supporty stuff on top of doing some damage. Hilda, we have another panda tank. I guess it was appropriate to get a second tank, just all these big pandas. New tournaments for purple runes. Now, I know we're all about to get excited, but we saw how hard the difficulty was for, I mean, even potency, which is like not even like the most important one. Now, speed obviously was bonkers, but don't be surprised if there are some really high requirements for this level wise. They may also respond to the community backlash against the minimum level requirements. We will see. We'll see, but I'm keeping my expectations a little in check, knowing that I couldn't even, I mean, technically I could participate like for about an hour. I finally hit level 75, but anyway, new seasonal event and legendary event, so we're going to get that around Christmas. That'll be great. We do know that Soleus is coming back in January. So for those of you who either didn't unlock him or only, you know, unlocked him and didn't get him to 7 stars, he is fantastic for Erichar. I'm going to use him in my team. So I'm going to adjust my team a little bit since we know that Soleus is coming back around. Because if you've been playing for this past month, this is someone you should have been able to get, and possibly even if you're free to play. I mean, those orcs were really accessible, so I'm going to move forward with that. We have, you can change your payout, thank goodness. I know that my shard has done a pretty good job of trying to coordinate stuff, but I mean, there are just some people I know that are doing it kind of unideal times because of when they have work and stuff, so that's a really great addition. New in-game currency, new in-game shop. This is something I saw a lot whenever people were frustrated about, like, hey, I wish I could get a currency for this instead of just getting certain shards. I wish I could, instead of getting pieces, right, of all these characters, or getting all these characters like 3, 4, 5 stars, I'd rather I just have one that I could get all the way to 7. Now you're going to be able to make that decision with that new tournament shop. So that's great. Again, developers listening to and reacting to things within reason. They're not giving us all the free gear we need to get to year 11. That's stupid, but you know, they're doing very reasonable things to help us along. In that new tournament shop, you're going to have Wonderlula, Phalia, gold, some other gear stuff that has been difficult to acquire outside of the raid because it wasn't on any slots, but we're going to get to that in a second too. Wonderlula Hero Stones in the Star Shop, so if you've finished hard work, you can go for Wonderlula. Now here's what I will say: do not farm Wonderlula with your Star Shop currency until you have finished hard work. Wonderlula pales, absolutely pales in comparison for the raid, and while she is incredibly helpful in acquiring Ember, being able to clear T7 Erichar is more important than getting Ember to 7 stars. It just is. And Wonderlula is in the tourney shop. So if you already have somewhere to get her there. It takes a long time. I don't even have hard work to 7 stars. He's only 6 stars for me. So it takes a really long time to get him there. So more hard to farm items added to the Star Shop. Yogi will be available from a campaign, so it looks like it'll be kind of like Cruel was. Hopefully we'll have like a little unlock, like Marquee style event. They'll be added to the common market too, these 3 new characters you can use your Dracoins on, where you spend like 400 Dracoins to get like 5 shards. Some gear are only available raids will be added to hard missions for campaigns, so there's going to be a limit of like 5 times a day unless you refresh, and it's going to cost a lot more energy. But there's some of those slots that are just so good. They have such like desirable gear on them, that there's still really efficient places for you to farm, because you're still getting good value for it. Instead of, farming 2 separate nodes to get these things you want, you farm 1 for twice the energy. There's no difference. So they are kind of capping the rate at which you can acquire it unless you do a lot of refreshes. But again, increasing the accessibility. I know particularly for people who there was tier 6 Erichar exclusive raid gear. And it's like, wait, I'm doing tier 7 and now I have no way of acquiring that. It was kind of strange, and I'm glad that they're making these changes. Hilda to the tower shop. I know I'm literally just waiting for Adam to come along, and I only have like 20-30 shards of Adam left to buy. So I'm going to hold on to it for right now. I'm going to see what Hilda ends up looking like, because I may need to use a lot of that currency to help me get Hard Orc in time for the Solis event, because he makes it a lot easier. And I don't want to put anything more into freaking Corcoran. All right. Dieselrock and Hilda will also be added to tournament chests in addition to basic and premiums. So that's pretty cool. I know for some people, they started holding out their premium chests because they'd farmed everyone. This is, obviously whales, but, they've been holding on to them. So they'll at least have a chance. They'll get a new character from those. New battle groups, we all know about this. Man, it would be nice if the 80 exclusive already existed for me, because I'm going to be the guy, like I said, I just hit 75. So, I've had to be in this whole section while fighting with these, 80s, and it is what it is. This is a really good change. Don't underestimate how significant this change is. What this really does is it limits the ability of groups. I know that people give a lot of hate to GNL, right, for only hitting non-GNLs for the most part. Our teams are usually pretty solid, so you can't blame. Anyway, I'm not even going to get into that. Basically, it makes it harder for you to get focused down by groups of people. Makes it hard for you to just get focused down in general, because you're losing fewer points for losing. This was a really good change. This was something I advertised at some point earlier about they needed to change the the balance there in order to have it be a better game mode. So I'm glad, again, they listened, made good changes. Raid drop changes. So it's going to be random wars. This is actually one I'm kind of mixed on. I kind of liked knowing I was always going to get something. I knew I wasn't going to go 4 raids without getting that last few shards of a piece that I needed. So I'm kind of mixed on this. They are going to give more per drop. So overall, it will help. We'll see. We'll see how that ends up going. I think in the end it'll be good, but there's something about reliability and something you can depend on. Fixing synchronization errors in turns, I know it's pissing off a lot of people, and it's obviously really frustrating because each one of those, you're not only losing a ticket, but you're losing points. So good improvement, improving skull screen. I don't know how many people had that problem, but hey, that's the thing. Added gear search improvements. Yes, I know what they're talking about there. Basically, you're just going to be able to go into, whenever you're looking at gear, you're going to have more effective searching strategies. Rune filter no longer this is big. I mean, how many times did you set a filter, you knew exactly which one, you just wanted to click on one rune to kind of see where it was at, and it's like, oh, by the way, there goes your whole filter. Give me a break. So I'm really excited about that. It was a good change. Update for the Guild of Gladiators quest. So this is the daily guild activity where you used to be required to win an arena fight. Now it's just participating. That's how it is in the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. And depending on where you're at in the game, can be really hard to get wins, either because you've run into a bot brick wall or something like that. So I think this was an appropriate change, and again, I'm glad that they were willing to listen there. Even though, again, they have nothing to gain from it, monetarily or anything, they're increasing the amount of awards we get just because. So thankful for that. And then we've changed the daily energy quests for those who have purchases, right? Just some people were upset because one of those collections didn't have a time limit, and now they both had to be collected within a 2-hour period. And so basically the 60 is still going to be within a 2-hour period, but then the additional 60 is going to be available for the rest of until the next refresh were to come around. And then a lot of minor improvements and bug fixes, so hopefully just better connectivity and less lagginess and more optimized graphic settings and stuff like that. So anyway, if there's anything specific you want me to run, I'm going to run my suggested teams first. which if you haven't seen that video, I'm gonna post a thing over in the corner over there. If you look at my T7 error chart guide, I am going to update it now that we have confirmation that Solis is coming back in January to include him. Yeah, so that's my first goal. But if there are other teams, I know that people are crazy about trying to use goblins against Solis. I think until we have Murdoch, it's really not, it can't compete really with the bleed team setup. But if you have other things you want me to try, if you have specific things you're like, hey, I would really like to see you do this. If you feel like you want me to boost that more, but I really do think this is going to be a minimum requirements team within reason. You know, I'm not going to kill myself spending all day trying to like barely get 10%, you know, after making 100 attempts. That's not it. But, you know, within reason, getting to gear 9 is pretty achievable. There's usually not any like paywall gear pieces to get that far. So anyway, that's the intention. Let me know what you guys think. Any other things you'd like me to do with the test account that can work within those parameters, and have a good night.